for us, as citizens of the world, to become more knowledgeable about the cultures that are within our world and on our campus. Not just students, but everyone, faculty, staff, and administrators. We all need to be more committed to promoting and advancing diversity on our campus. Numerous discriminatory stereotypes still exist, and yes, they are present on our campus. And whether we care to admit it or not, many of us are still afraid to step out of our comfort zones. SLU could make a number of institutional changes as well as additions that would help dispel such stereotypes and, moreover, enhance our cultural competency. However, a commitment must be spearheaded by our president and the higher administration. This commitment should also include expanding resources for our international students. In order to provide a true sense of inclusion, we must alleviate the hardships that our international students face. Diversity is a vital component of our mission, but service to humanity is the root. I am concerned that we are not carrying out our creed. SLU has a plethora of resources, which could and should be utilized to help those outside our gates. Where the average high school student has a 4th grade reading level, where the average income is well below the poverty level. As students, we should not close our eyes to these injustices, and as a university, we should not close our doors. We need to better integrate service into our curriculum. Not only will this fulfill our mission of creating men and women for others, but it will also create us as agents of change. My fellow students, we have another responsibility. A responsibility to ourselves and others to make wise decisions with regard to alcohol. Many of us said that the SLU community has had a problem with alcohol. Like anything else, one's perception of what is or isn't a problem is relative. Students are capable of drinking responsibly, but at the same time, we need to observe and reflect on our level of consumption and how it affects our relationships, our grades, and most importantly, our health. We, the so-called future, should not be producers of destructive habits. To consume alcohol is one thing, to let it consume you is another. Now, I would be the first to raise my glass to make a toast in honor of our commitment to drink responsibly and care for one another. I have just highlighted a number of major issues, some of which are outside the scope of student government. However, we must always remember that it is our duty and our responsibility to be a voice for our fellow students and bring these concerns to the forefront. I pray that we have been heard. Again, our association is strong, but we are not without challenges. Senators, I want you to know that it is not the magnitude of our problems that concern me, but the small things. The small things are what will restrict us from making meaningful change. And the law of change states, when change is necessary, not to change is destructive. We have a number of efforts in progress. We need to ensure that they are completed, or at least that they are prepared enough for the next administration to pick up. As stated before, our relationships with the SLU administration are strong, but we must establish a framework that fosters and furthers these relationships. And we also need a structure that will increase our overall efficiency and effectiveness as an organization. In order to remain influential, we must have a solid foundation. I believe that our current Constitution and bylaws do not reflect this. It has been a document that has been amended nearly every year. However, I don't think the changes have been made without careful consideration with regard to uniformity, practicality, and simplicity. After thoroughly looking over our governing documents, I have drafted a number of changes. Some of these proposals may seem a bit extreme, but they are vital to the stability and legitimacy of our association. Within some of the proposed changes, I'm trying to address and provide solutions to questions and conflicts that have surfaced over the years. Some of these include the Great Issues Committee, Student Organization Cabinets, also known as SOCs, minority representation, the social justice element, committee structures, and the chartering of our student organizations. Changes to SOCs, minority representation, and the social justice element go hand in hand. As you are aware, the president of our cross-cultural organizations have been meeting all last semester. Ultimately, the representation on SGA was one of the main things discussed. Ultimately, the consensus of the group was that SGA should change its structure, which would include the possibility of removing certain seats. Such a change, though, would require a change someplace else to ensure that representation is sustained. I believe, and many of the presidents agree, that the Diversity Cabinet has the potential to be a strong forum, capable of representing and addressing the needs of our minority students. It will not be strong, however, if the Student Government Association does not recognize it as such. And we must also provide it with the authority to communicate directly with the SLU administration. This not only would be more effective, but would begin a season of empowerment among our organizations. The social justice element will need a similar form of acknowledgement. This past year, we've had a number of incidents where students question SLU's commitment to social justice. We need to address these issues properly and effectively. At the beginning of the year, there was a controversial issue that arose. You have not heard me speak much, if at all, about this issue. To be honest, the situation left me quite perplexed. An injustice had occurred, and I was one of the ones affected by it. I did not, and could not, and still cannot, grumble about it, because I did not run for this position for any compensation. I ran for this position to serve my fellow students. And I bring this issue up now, not to generate pity or cause any more controversy, but to illustrate 2 points. First, it was never about the money. It was about a promise being made to students and broken by the administration. I hope such an occurrence like this does never happen again. Second, I want to emphasize the fact that all of us here in this room were elected to serve. Members of the 34th General Assembly, there is no higher calling than service. A man who has exemplified this for the past 15 years is Phil Lyons. He has served the students in this university with the utmost integrity. His love for students is immeasurable. Not only has he built leaders and organizations, but he has created a spirit of humility and instilled the true values of the Jesuit mission on this campus. It is with great sadness that I announce next Wednesday will be Phil's last day serving as our moderator. Although we are losing a pillar of our Student Government Association, our strength will not waver. My friends, I have raised some serious questions, but if you recall, the first question was, what are we going to do about it? The time is now, and I am more than confident in your abilities. And I believe that through constant communication, where matters are discussed with honesty and sincerity, SGA and the SLU administration will be able to overcome any of our challenges. Thank you for your attention, and may God's grace and peace be with you.